Yeah.
You do realize, Stephen, we're in this situation because of you.
At least.
This thing, it's gonna follow you.
Stole my face and now I'm going to get it back.
You stole my face and now I'm going to get it back.
Bob will die, Kim will die, your wife will die.
Dark, twisted, and impossible to shake, these disturbing movies aren't here to entertain, they're here to haunt you, so be careful what you wish for, because Maika Monroe can tell you firsthand, it's all fun and games until you catch a curse that follows you everywhere, and she's not alone. I've rounded up 6 movies that take unsettling to a whole new level, the kind of stories that make you laugh nervously while double checking the locks on your doors. Barry Keoghan delivers one of the most chilling performances you'll ever see. Calm, polite, and absolutely terrifying. We have Adrian Brody's perfect crime, ruined as he learns the hard way that the perfect hideout doesn't include being locked in with a beast that eats thieves for breakfast. Nicole Kidman's family dinner turns into a Greek curse. Antonio Banderas drops the charm to play a villain who makes you wish you never opened the door. These films don't just disturb, they linger, crawl under your skin, and make you wonder why you subject yourself to this at 2 a.m. Each of these movies serves up a different flavor of dread, so buckle up, dim the lights, and let's get started. But before that, real quick, kindly consider liking and hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on all these recommendation lists. So let's jump right in. So kicking things off, we have Titan. Now everyone that I've recommended this to has walked away cursing me literally. So the setup is we have this character called Alexia. Now Alexia is a woman who, after being injured in a car crash as a child, has a titanium plate fitted into her head, and therefore she develops a really strange and almost erotic attraction to metal, especially cars. And she works as an exotic dancer, more of like a showgirl really, at one of these mobile car shows. So one day she ends up having sex with a car. Yes, you heard it right. Don't even ask me how it happens, but it's on full display in the movie. And this renders her pregnant, and it's at this point that the movie turns on its head into a series of madness, pure madness. And I'd say that at its heart, Titan is about identity, trauma, and unconditional love, told through a bizarre and extreme story involving violence, body transformation, and an unconventional bond between two broken people. It's not just for shock value though, it's very graphic and disturbing at times. However, the movie is ultimately about finding acceptance and connection in unexpected places.
We can't just go invade a country because they're doing something that we think is immoral.
We're all very proud of you, baby.
Next up, we have The Green Inferno. Eli Roth's continuous obsession with shipping young people to foreign countries where they are subjected to acts of violence, torture, and cannibalism. So the setup of this movie is you have this character called Justine. Justine is a first-year college student who joins a group of young activists who want to stop deforestation that's taking place in the Amazon. So they fly to Peru and stage a live stream protest to protect this indigenous tribe. And on their way back, their plane accidentally crashes into the jungle, and the very tribe they quote unquote saved captures them and turns out to be cannibals. And this is a mix of horror, gore, and social commentary. Justine witnesses the brutality and realizes that the tribe sees them not as saviors but as intruders or prey, and therefore the movie critiques this performative activism where outsiders often swoop in to save others without realizing or understanding the culture, consequences, or risks in what is a take on the culture clash. And it raises controversial questions about how Westerners often view people of this nature as noble victims or savages or props in their own causes. Now this movie is very gory. It's not for people with weak stomachs, because what unravels on screen I can't even begin to show it on this video because it's intense. So therefore, if you're someone who is able to withstand violence and gore, then this is the movie for you. You're going to really have a good time with this one.
You stole my face and now I'm going to get it back.
You stole my face and now I'm going to get it back.
Calm is a psychological horror thriller. It's not a go-heavy horror movie per se, but rather a paranoid detective and nightmare, and the story centers around Lola. Now, Lola is a calm girl who streams provocative shows to climb the ranks on this adult site, She's very ambitious, competitive, and carefully curates her persona. However, one day she finds herself locked out of her own account, but the shocking part, or the shocking bit, is that her channel is still live and is being run by an identical copy of her. This duplicate is perfect, looks like her, acts like her, but essentially is not her. And this duplicate ends up doing things that go against Lola's morals and values, and this leaves people around in Lola's life wondering what's up with her, because she's lost full control. And this duplicate does some really disturbing things. However, this movie is the least disturbing on the list, I will say. It's very tame. However, it creates this awareness about identity theft and how much control one loses in the event of identity theft. And the disturbing factor is not the mainstay or the meat and potatoes of this movie. I think the performances of the star Lola make sense, and the themes that this movie explores. And so as Lola struggles to regain control, the double grows even more popular and locks Lola out even more and more and more. And while her life starts to unravel, we find that now the movie starts exploring themes about sex work and the stigma that comes with it. And it does portray cam work without judgment, showing both the empowerment and vulnerability. It also explores themes about digital identity, asking questions like how much of yourself do you own once it's online. This is a very great movie. It's not as spooky, it's not as scary, it's not disturbing, but the disturbing elements of someone or an entity taking over your online persona might be a mighty bit spooky. Yeah,
Is something wrong with me?
Kills her and goes straight down the line to whoever started.
Next up, we have It Follows. It Follows is probably the most disturbing movie on this list, and therefore this is a supernatural horror movie with a simple but terrifying premise. The setup is we have this young man called Jay. So Jay goes on a date with a guy called Hugh. Now, after sleeping together, Hugh reveals a very horrifying truth. He tells her that he's passed on a curse to her, and therefore a mysterious entity will begin following Jay, and it can look like anyone. Could be a stranger, could be a friend, even a loved one, and only those who carry the curse can see this entity. And it moves very slowly but never stops. If it kills you, it goes back down the chain to the previous person who carried it. So in this instance, if Jay dies, the entity will go back to haunting Hugh. The concept is both original and primal. It Follows is scary due to the pervasive, inescapable dread of a relentless entity that moves at a walking pace but always gets closer. The core of the horror is that the entity is always constantly walking, invincible to the non-infected obviously, but a threat nonetheless, and a threat that is always approaching its victims, never accelerating. It cannot be outrun and will eventually catch up to its victim, creating this pervasive sense of dread and hopelessness. Also, its ability to shift into familiar people. It can look exactly like anyone, and the entity takes on various human forms, including strangers, people you know, and even loved ones, making it impossible to trust anyone you see, thus amplifying the psychological terror and the fear of betrayal. This builds up on the paranoia of having to scan your surroundings constantly for it, and this unique premise allows the movie to rely on the suspense and atmospheric tension rather than constant jump scares to create this deep sense of vulnerability and the inevitable threat of death. And therefore, Jay and her friends try to escape this entity. They test different ways to fight it and wrestle the idea of passing it on to others through sex, like how Jay got it from Hugh. And I'd say this movie is very well made. It stars Maika Monroe, who plays Jay, and this is one of her earlier roles, and she does a fantastic job with it. It's a very, I'd say it's a slow burn of a movie. It's not kinetically charged like most horror movies are. This one takes its time to breathe. The scenes are very they linger for some time, but the scare aspect, the scare component of this, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. A sequel was announced back in October of 2023 titled They Follow, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm quite hyped up about it.
It's nothing serious.
No, it is. It's sick and die. Bob will die. Kim will die. Your wife will die. Understand?
No, I don't.
Next up, we have Killing of a Sacred Deer. Now, this is a psychological thriller with mythological undertones. It's very unsettling, slow, and quite surreal. And the story centers around Steven. Steven is a successful and respected heart surgeon, living quite comfortably and lavishly with his wife Anna. Anna is played by Nicole Kidman and their 2 children. So Steven befriends this teenage boy called Martin, played by Barry Keoghan, whose father once died during surgery that Steven performed. And at first, Martin seems awkward but harmless, but soon his behavior starts taking a strange turn and he becomes invasive, like dining with Steven's family and making unsettling remarks. And one night he demands a terrible price of this family, and therefore Steven and his family are presented with a very impossible conundrum that carries the plot forward. Now, Barry Keoghan as Martin is very eerie and unusual with quite contradicting qualities, and this is a visually striking movie. We get those lingering, sweeping shots synonymous with Yorgos Lanthimos style. It also does have dark undertones, but it also has a dark comedic component to it, just like his movie The Lobster, where the dialogue is delivered in such an unusual manner. And this movie explores themes about guilt and retribution, where Martin embodies punishment for Steven's medical mistake, forcing him to confront accountability. It also explores themes about the illusion of control. We have this man of science, the doctor, Steven, who is suddenly powerless before while presented with something irrational and supernatural. And I'd say this is not really a disturbing movie, but it does have some disturbing elements, especially as the plot unravels and you get to see what's happening to this family. And it's a very well made movie, well executed, and production value is up right there on screen for you to fully enjoy. Rounding up the list, we have Bullethead. Bullethead is a crime thriller with survival horror elements. It's a tense, gritty story with criminals trapped in a warehouse with something far more dangerous than they expected. So, three criminals, played by Adrian Brody and John Malkovich and Rory Culkin, pull off a heist and they hide in what looks like an abandoned warehouse, and this is where the story kicks off. But the place isn't actually empty, it's actually used for illegal dog fighting, and a massive battle-scarred dog is still inside. The three men become trapped, trying to escape this warehouse, avoiding capture by the ruthless owner of the warehouse, played by Antonio Banderas as a villain, and also trying to survive encounters with this massive, deadly, and ruthless dog. It's not just a killer dog movie, it balances philosophical reflections with tense survival horror. This has that man versus beast tale that works because the dog isn't just a monster, it's a victim of human cruelty, embodying both menace and innocence. And it does have its own story arc, which I thought was very well done. Definitely not easy to watch for animal lovers or dog lovers though. And as the night unfolds, the men reflect on their past moral choices and whether they can find redemption even as violence closes in on them. Why this movie works so well is it's not only brutal but also oddly contemplative, more character driven than you might expect from its setup. It combines crime drama, dialogue like the men talking about war stories reflecting on morality, with bursts of suspense and horror when the dog strikes. And it's a very brutal movie to watch, and more so because of the dog and what happens to the dog and why it is the way it is. It's a very massive dog, and it does pose a proper challenge and conflict to our protagonists who are just trying to make it through after scoring this heist. So if you do enjoy this list, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as ring that notification bell to receive updates on all new videos, reviews dropping. See you in the next one. Cheers.